The Geekorama podcast is brought to you by superherofiction.com, the one-stop shop for novels featuring the superpowered heroes we all love. Your hosts are
Trish Heinrich, author of the Vigilante Superhero Universe.
And I'm Jeremy Flagg, author of the Children of Notre Dame universe.
So, we were talking before the show about how we're both doing in quarantine this week.
It's been a stressful how many days? I don't even
I don't
this
even
Thursday
know.
will mark 1 month since I've been off work.
Okay. It's probably about the same here in our house, I would imagine.
It's it's I would have said until Saturday everything felt fine. And then by Saturday, I had to take my
Hmm.
car out just to go for a drive to make sure the battery was working. And I don't
Yeah.
know if it was out being in sunlight or doing something that I do when life is normal, but after that,
Mm-hmm.
like, it started getting a little bit like itching to go out. Like my
Yeah.
days have become get up, eat cereal, go do some writing, go do some of my day job, then go take a break for lunch, then like, and that's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Like, it's all
Yeah.
just the.
Every freaking day. Yeah.
Um, I'm pretty certain that Groundhog's Day was not a funny comedy. It was an apocalyptic movie preparing us for this scenario.
It's one of Dante's circles of
Yes.
hell, is what it is.
And I
Yeah.
can't only imagine having
No.
kids, like having other humans in your life that
Oh, geez.
are experiencing this same repetition.
They're actually being troopers, I'll be honest. It's I thought they would both have a hard time not seeing friends, but it's only my oldest. My youngest seems to be the kind of person that envisions an audience wherever she goes, whether imaginary or real. So she's fine. Like she's totally cool. She's chill. Whereas Rosalind, my oldest, is very much an extrovert, very social, like very, very social. And so we have been working really hard to get her in touch with some of her friends. There's a couple of them, they have phone numbers that we have. So we've been making sure that she can call them. And then this morning, they surprised her, two of them surprised her with a video call, which was really sweet.
Have you thought about getting her
But
the kids messenger so that they can text back and
I
forth?
haven't. Well, she has Zoom and she does have her
Okay.
own phone. So she uses her phone for that. And another friend of hers just got her own phone too. And the third one, like there's a group of three of them that are pretty close. And um, it's been a little hard to get a hold of them off and on, and that's been discouraging. But like I said, I think we're getting to a place now where the parents are used to Rosalind calling them up and saying, "Hey, can so and so talk?" Um, and she's also, we're doing video chats with her grandparents, which the kids are very close to. And actually, it's my mother-in-law's 80th birthday in a couple of weeks, and we're unable to do a party. So my brother-in-law's putting together like a video of everybody's, messages, and so we're finding ways around it, but it's hard enough to handle like my own emotions around this and all the unknowns. And then I've got my kids and all of their emotions and trying to get them to talk and trying to reassure them that everything's going to be okay. I mean, it doesn't sound like a lot, but it's a lot.
Have
I
you
mean,
thought about doing Netflix watch parties for them?
I haven't actually. That's a really good
So it's
idea.
I think it's a Chrome app. You put it on, and literally all it does is sync up two people's Netflixes so that they play at the same time.
Oh,
And what you can
fun.
do then is you can open a Zoom window on your computer or have your phone video, um, and that way it's kind of like you're watching a movie together. And so you have people to gab with during the movie.
The kids would probably really love that. I don't, we'll have to think about that. We showed them the first Harry Potter movie last weekend because I had had my fill of cartoon movies that I just really didn't care about. I mean, I think the pinnacle was Hercules. I was like, I really do not want to watch this movie. So I put my foot down and I was like, Mom is choosing the movie night movie this week. I don't care. And it was Harry Potter, the first Harry Potter movie, which is not the best Harry
No.
Potter movie by any stretch, but the girls were like gaga for this. And they were like, we're watching the second one next weekend. And I was like, okay, sure. Yeah, we can do
Um,
this.
though you kind of have to
So,
space out the last ones
oh yeah.
because
Well, yeah, after Prisoner of Azkaban, I think we're gonna have to take a break. And Prisoner of Azkaban is actually gonna be pushing it because of the
yeah, I was gonna
Dementors.
say
Like my girls are 7 and 10, and yeah, they might not like The Prisoner of Azkaban. Personally, it's my favorite book and it is my favorite movie.
I think
I
it's my
love
favorite
it.
movie, but I could definitely see where that. I mean, because
The Dementors
yeah,
are
I really
scary.
think that that could be a touch and go. But yeah, I absolutely recommend the
Yeah.
Flix Party. There's another one that my mom and I are trying to use that will sync Amazon Prime. It's not working at the moment, um,
Oh,
but
that'd be a
if
good one.
it does, like my mom and I watch like crappy fashion shows together so that we can, talk
Oh,
smack all throughout the whole thing.
are you watching the one? It's Heidi
That's the
Klum
one.
and oh my God,
Yep.
that's the one. I love those two. Like I really want to watch it because I loved Project Runway. That was one of my guilty
And
pleasures.
so like we're just trying to find ways that, you know, other than calling up and being like, "So, how's your day going? What are you up to?" Like, it gives you something to talk
Yeah.
about that's not, "Hey,
Yep.
so we're isolated."
I know. And that is the thing. Like you call up somebody, how you doing? Good. And you can't really ask, so what did you do today? Because it's the same thing that they
Yeah,
said
like
last
you
time,
might as
pretty
well just
much.
replay the same conversations over and over again.
Exactly. Exactly. So that's basically how I'm doing during quarantine.
Okay, so what have you been up to this week, not quarantine related?
Okay. Geez. Well, I'm actually I last week I said, "Oh, I'm feeling pretty back to normal." And this week I'm very much back to normal from being sick. And so I am really trying to go full steam ahead on the sequel to Fahrenheit's Ghost, which is called Fire and Ice. I'm almost halfway through the second draft. And because I was so sick in March, I'm about a month behind what I had scheduled. But I gave myself a month's bumper with the pre-order. So even if I don't get it done in enough time to release it when I really want to, which is July, I'll, I I really do believe I'm still on track to release in August. So that's good. That's making me feel really good. Um, I mean, that's basically it. I'm working on book two. I'm starting to outline book three so that I've got, a lot of stuff kind of hopefully will snowball into several new products this year.
Um, yeah, oh Lord, I'm doing a lot.
You are doing a lot.
So I've been averaging about 3,000 words a day. So
Whew.
that is speeding up my production line in ways that I'm not prepared for. And so I already have um, a box set that's currently waiting for the artist to wrap up, and I just got to see a sneak peek at the cover, which I loved.
It's so
And
beautiful. Oh
all it
my
is a piece of
gosh.
clothes and two legs. Like that's all you can see out of the finished product, and I'm like, yes. Um, so, but I'm in a situation where I'm waiting for other people for everything because I didn't think I was going to
Yeah.
be moving along so fast. Um, and I mean, he's working really fast right now, but they're original illustrations, so it's not like you can say, "Hey, can you have this done by tomorrow night?" Like it's not photo
Yeah.
manipulation, so it just doesn't work that way. And then I didn't think I was going to need an editor anytime soon, and I just wrote. Uh, so in the last month, I've written the Smutty Romance. I've written a reader magnet that'll get finished tomorrow. edited by the end of the day. I've written a whole book, and I just need to wrap that final climax to it, and
Oh my
then I'm on to
gosh.
book
That's
3.
amazing.
So yeah, my production line is weirdly clogged right now, and it's giving me anxiety. Like I just
Because it's
yeah.
out of your
So
control. Like it's nothing you
on
can
my
do anything
Trello
about.
board, there's like all this work that I'm doing, and then there's the out for review board is just getting longer and longer.
Oh,
So,
geez.
but it just means like I might have to hire 2 editors to work at once. I might have to find another
Yeah.
situation for cover art. Like I I don't know right now. So I'm relearning a process where I actually produce work.
Well, and it's when you think you're like, okay, I've got this down. I know how my funnel works, my work funnel. And then your situation changes and you have to rethink and you have to readjust everything.
And
It's
and
not
thankfully like I
easy.
know the contact people, so it's not starting from scratch, but like they are used
Hmm.
to working for you at a certain speed. So even my normal editor, who I would normally book a month or two out, I was like, hey, can you turn this book around in 2 weeks? And they were like, no. And I was like,
Oh,
thanks,
jeez.
next. So we'll see how that email goes. Hopefully next week I'll have a new editor.
Okay. Well, I know I've said this before, but she may be kind of new, but she is thorough to like an ouchy kind of level of fault. And she's very
i
fast.
I might have to take you up on
So,
that, depending on how this situation goes.
yeah,
So
she made me better at revisions. The first time I ever had her line edit for me, it made me better at revisions because the stuff she found, I was like, oh yeah, I should be looking for this stuff myself and not making her do it.
yeah, I'm gonna be quite honest. I probably dropped too much on my editors, but oops.
Well, if that's it, but if that's the relationship you have, then I don't know. She's one of my best friends, and I can tell. Like I told her the first one she did, I'm like, it's a hot mess. I'm just letting you know. And then she gives it back to me. She's like, God, you weren't kidding. I'm like, thank you. Like,
And there goes that ego.
yeah, exactly. She's very good at that.
Okay,
Okay. Love you,
so
Rochelle.
this month in pop culture history,
Yes, moving right along. We have some interesting ones. In 1975, Microsoft was formed by a partnership of Bill Gates and Paul Allen in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Now, when I saw that, I wondered why did they move to the Pacific Northwest? Like, why didn't they stay in Albuquerque? What was
aliens.
the impetus?
Yeah,
Aliens? Was it aliens? Too
yep,
close to
that's
Roswell? Maybe that's where they got the technology from Microsoft. They full on stole it from some aliens and they're like, we got to get out of here.
aliens had laptops, and here we are.
And here we are. God, this is what quarantine does to
Yeah,
people. Listen to us. It's all a
eventually
conspiracy.
everything is connected.
Everything, everything. All right. Now this next one I remember. I don't know if you remember this, but I
I don't
do.
remember it, but
And
the
it made
fact
me
that you
laugh.
managed to fit him in this just made me laugh.
Okay, so in 1986, Geraldo Rivera, I can't even say his name without laughing, hosted a live 2-hour special titled The Mystery of Al Capone's Vault. They found nothing. Absolutely
And it's funny
nothing.
because no one thinks of Geraldo as a serious journalist, but he was.
No. At one point, like he was semi-serious. People took him semi-seriously, but I really think that this was the beginning of the end for him. I mean, and I remember these commercials. They were like mysterious and dark and what are we going to find, and eh, it was just so stupid.
And now look at what the legacy
No.
is.
Yes, yes, it's very telling. And last but not least, in 2008, Danica Patrick became the first woman to win an IndyCar race, defying decades of sexist thought and action by the IndyCar racing
So this is
sport.
a funny one because I remember when Danica first won this, and it was definitely an upset, and people were like, "Oh, how
Hmm.
this is impossible," and I remember accusations of cheating and like the pit
Yep.
crew being malicious and all of this stuff. Now, unfortunately, fast forward to um, like the last, and I don't think it's still today, but like the 2 to 3 years ago, Danica Patrick was the spokesperson for GoDaddy, and she is
Oh,
the reason I will not use GoDaddy as a host provider. I mean, many reasons, but she's the cherry on top. Uh, because all
really?
of her, like, she would always be in like her racing gear, which bravo, like,
Hmm.
please do.
Okay.
Except, why is her zipper all the way down to her navel, and she's not wearing anything under
Uh,
that? And wow, Danica, you you're looking pretty damn sexy to it irked me so much that they took in an empowering
yeah.
moment and capitalized on her sex appeal. Um
Agreed. Yeah,
and
absolutely.
she's got this trophy of first with her, but really
Hmm.
she's just a great looking woman. So I just GoDaddy just made me so mad that I will actually, if I take on a client that's using GoDaddy, part of the contract is that they have to move away from GoDaddy. Yeah,
Are you
I
serious?
GoDaddy, I'm coming
Wow.
for you.
Oh my God. Go you.
It's my stick it to the man moment.
Yes, and I'm loving it. All right, what is your geek out this week? You were very excited because you
Okay,
have
yeah.
one.
So here's the funny thing. There's only so many times I can mention Westworld in a row before people are going to be like, "Why don't they just rename it to the Westworld Show?" Um, which, yes, I have been watching. I'm all caught up, so I can't talk about it because there's too many spoilers. But I've been reading comics again. Just kind of as a like a nighttime ritual type thing. And I kind of stopped with the last iteration of Uncanny X-Men that happened in late 2018, early 2019, because it was a 26 issue run, and they said that they were rebooting the X-Men and bringing it up to modern, and they were making it approachable for new readers, and then they were like, "Oh yeah, by the way, we're ending it. We're starting over again." And this is Marvel, like, that's what I have to say to you. Um, I'm tired of it. So I was super
Yeah.
apprehensive. I went to my local comic book store when it came out, and uh, they came out with two $10 issues of this comic. Um, and
Wow.
I'm not going to buy a comic for $10 unless it's X-Men
Yeah.
first. So they came out with House of X and Powers of X, and I've had both of them sitting in my house, like actual paper copies, and I
Mhm.
was like, they burned me last time, so why should I bother reading these? Because they're just going to reboot everything in a month, anyways. Why bother? But I'm actually finding that this is such an alien concept of a comic that it
Really?
so far in the first issue, and I'm gonna get all of this wrong because I just don't remember stuff well. In Powers of X, you get a couple of your um, X-Men big hitters. You have Cyclops, you have Magneto, Mystique shows up, Sabretooth, and then a bunch of people who I don't know. And so like the majority of and the Fantastic Four have an appearance. Um, and there's this weird thing about how the mutants are so overpopulated and so persecuted that they've now created their own sanctuary using the island
Oh,
of Krakoa. And so they are basically,
I have heard of this. I have
and
heard of
so
this.
they're
Yeah.
moving everyone over there. But something's weird. Like, and I'm not even sure if it's supposed to be hinted at this point, but um, the second issue, I kind of expected it to be a good guy point of view, bad guy point of view, but the second one has
Hmm.
like Ilyana Rasputin and a bunch of people who I don't know who they are. Um, and so
Weird.
it's really hard to get into, but at the same time, the the not the artwork. The artwork is great. I mean, it's good artwork, but the graphic
Hmm.
design. Um, so every couple pages, there's a blank page with just text on it, and it's giving you missing information that you don't know. So, like, what is the island? What is the great event that happened? What is um, the persecution? Like, what is the Nimrod protocols? What's the man in the machine? And it's explaining like these.
Oh,
So in novel
interesting.
terms, it's info dumping, but it's
Yeah.
pretty. So um,
Oh,
they've done a good job of keeping me interested enough to want to turn the page. And when I mean big text, I mean like some of these are like 500-700 words worth of text, and some of them are just a one
wow.
line quote from Apocalypse. I don't know how it all connects. I, I'm not
Hmm.
going to say I'm sold, but I'm intrigued.
Is this the one, and I don't know if this is the current iteration of X-Men or not, but it sounds like what you're reading. Is this the one where you've got Jean Grey, Logan, and Scott Summers, and they're all sharing a
Um,
house? And like Jean Grey's room is between is it's the middle room between Scott's and Logan's, and so they're all
I don't even know
connected.
yet because we haven't found them. I just started
Okay.
issue 2, and Logan, like as Old Man Logan, I think shows up, but I don't know what any of it. So this is the.
Oh,
Of course, I'm never going to see it with my light. Um, it's
okay.
beautiful artwork,
Yeah.
but like it's almost taking a concept of X-Men and making it like reimagined. So I don't know the continuity. Like
Got
Nimrod
ya.
is
Okay.
involved, but Nimrod wasn't really a thing in the current continuity. Like, uh, so,
So it's out of
but I
continuity
think it's
then.
the new continuity.
Oh my God,
So
how
you know what it
confusing.
reminds me of? This feels like DC's New 52. We're gonna let this go for about 2 years
Oh,
before we get bored of it and go back to the old thing. But for now,
got ya.
relearn everything you've ever known. Okay, so
Okay.
for 2 years, I'll be interested.
And you'll come along for the ride, and then they
Yeah.
will obliterate
So,
it.
and I know they already have.
And you'll
So
just,
I don't like
oh,
maybe this is Legion's ideal universe and we're in like a Mad Hatter situation, or maybe this is a potential future and we're gonna see like I don't know, but
who
pretty
knows?
artwork and great
Okay. Well,
graphic design.
you have to let us know. Now I'm intrigued. So when you finish it, let us know
Yeah,
what happens.
I'm issue 2 right now. Maura McTaggart's a mutant, I think. um
Oh,
okay,
interesting.
okay, well, I guess I can accept that.
Let's see where they let's see what they
I
do with this.
you know, some ancient god coming to life and turning in the four horsemen, I can accept that. But Moira Taggart as a mutant, whoa now.
Bridge too
So,
far.
all right. So, what have you been geeking out? Uh,
So there's a couple things actually, and I know I only listed one in the script, but I'm going to do two this week. And I'm going to do them quick. I know. Oh my God. The first one I'm going to do, it's the series is complete, although from what I understand, they cut it kind of short. Secret Diary of a Call Girl on
okay.
Amazon Prime. And I love Billie Piper. I loved her in Doctor Who, and I heard that she had done this show, was doing this show, and I was very intrigued. It's based off an actual blog of a call girl in the UK. And I'm watching the show, and I finished season one, and I just started season two, and Billie Piper is freaking delightful. It's totally steamy. Do not watch this with your children around. Put headphones on. Don't even let them hear it because oh my God. Um, if you like, I don't want to say smut because that sounds like judgmental, but it is kind of smutty, but in like the best way. It's so good. It is graphic sex. There is a story there. It's not just the sex. It's about her and her life and why she does this and how hard it is to have relationships and still have this job. And one of the things I love about it is right off the bat, she says, I just want you to know I'm not doing this because anybody hurt me or anybody, that I had a difficult relationship with a male relative. She says, I like sex and I like getting paid for sex. And that's all you need to know. And I was like, okay, total respect. It's funny, it's horrifying, it's got some great conversations about consent in it. I really
It's
am
so
liking it.
funny that you bring up the positive aspect and like the word smut being judgy. I as writers, I like the fact that in the writing community we say smut and you're like, ooh, like it's a positive word.
Yeah,
Um
exactly.
and
Exactly.
like erotica just sounds so formal and stodgy now. Um,
It does.
but
Yeah.
having like sex positive portrayals are so rare that I literally had a conversation this morning and then a conversation with you about Sense8 and the positive sex aspect of it being so
Yeah.
important to the plot. Um,
Hmm.
there's not enough of it.
Yeah, no, there isn't. There is a level of some of the people around her. I mean, like her best friend, she tells him, and he's not, it's funny, he's not judgmental, but it's more like he's shocked that she's doing this and he's uncomfortable that she's doing this, but at no point is there a judgment about you shouldn't be having all that sex. Like that, no one has said that to her. Um, and like you said, I love the sex positive aspect of it. And Billy Piper's fantastic. So if you want something steamy in your quarantine rotation, go check out Secret go check out Secret Diary of a Call Girl. It is free with Amazon Prime. And then the second one I'm going to bring up really quickly is I'm listening to the audiobook of The Witches Are Coming by Lindy West. And now Lindy West is a Seattle native. I listened to her audiobook Shrill, which is also a series on
Oh,
Hulu, which I highly
yes.
recommend. Yeah. Shrill is a memoir for Lindy West, and The Witches Are Coming is more of like socio-political commentary and comedy. And it's kind of like a female version of the Daily Show and the John Oliver's kind of show where she basically is just like, here's an issue and I'm going to talk about it and I'm going to be sarcastic and I'm going to make you cringe and laugh at the same time. Um, it's wonderful. And I'm one of those people right now in this moment in history where I used to devour political commentaries and all that, and I have really become adverse to it right now anyway. But for some reason, I can stand it when she talks about it. And she makes these really salient, intelligent points that are sandwiched between sarcasm and kind of gross humor. And I just adore it. It really makes me stop and think. So that's the other thing I'm geeking out about. The Witches Are Coming by Lindy West.
Okay. So, for this week's deep dive, we are gonna tread on some thin ice,
Very
because
thin.
I already know my decision is going to be the unsettling one. Um, we are gonna talk.
Am I going to have nightmares? Am I going to have
You're gonna
nightmares,
have
Remy?
images of nipple shields, and if you haven't figured it out,
No,
we're
no.
gonna talk about who the the best portrayal of Batman is. And so
Yes.
we haven't even talked about it ourselves. We just kind of left it up.
Mm-mm.
I have a sneaking suspicion that we will partially agree on at least one.
I think we
Um,
might,
so
but I don't know. Now you have me scared.
so let's go through history and look at who our portrayals of Batman are.
Well, now we're sticking with
Oh,
cinematic Batman,
let's
right?
include TV. Though I will have to say I can't include
Okay.
all uh, animation because I
Oh, there's been a
yeah, but
bajillion of them. Well, there's only one iconic voice, but
and
see, this is where I think it gets tricky.
so um yeah, so the
Let's just
original
talk.
is going to
Okay, go for it.
be um, Batman the TV show, the
Mhm.
delightfully campy, um, played by I probably should
Adam
have looked up all
West.
the names because
Yeah, we're gonna have. Hold on, let me pull
I'll
up a
see if I can
Google
remember them all.
uh
So
page.
we're gonna have Adam
Okay.
West, and then we're gonna speed right into cinematic with Tim Burton's, which is gonna be Michael Keaton for Batman
Hmm.
1 and 2,
Yep.
the very short-lived Batman 3 with Val Kilmer, the Batman
Yes.
4 with uh, George
George
Clooney.
Clooney.
Then we're gonna fast forward a little ways, and we're going to uh, get to the animated, which is
Kevin
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 Conroy,
Conroy.
and then we're gonna get Christian Bale as the Dark Knight, and
Hmm.
we are gonna wind up with Ben Affleck in Justice League, and we
Oh yeah. How
yeah,
did I forget that?
and then we're going to end with some sparkly vampires and um
The visual is
I
not
just
right in my
I
head.
wanted
I have
sparkle.
sparkly skin under the cowl, and I just
No, I
cannot get
want
it
the
out of my
cowl to
head.
sparkle too.
It's
All of it.
it's wrong. Oh my God, the cowl having sparkles. Now see, that's something
I
I can get behind. I like
it
that.
it's gonna be Sailor Moon meets Batman.
Oh my God.
Um,
Somebody needs to
and I
make
can't even
that.
think of his name off the top of my head. Uh,
Pattinson. Robert Pattinson.
Pattinson. Is it Pattinson or Patton?
Yeah. No, it's Pattinson. Hold on a second. I'm looking it up. Um, who is playing the new Batman? See, Google knew exactly what I. It's Robert
Oh, okay, Pattinson.
Pattinson.
Um, I
Pattinson.
I'm not good.
Diggory in
Yes,
Harry
which
Potter, which was almost played by Henry Cavill. I bet you didn't know
huh?
that.
That's a that's a weird
Yeah,
connection.
that's a very
All
weird
right,
connection.
so how about we start with our least favorite,
Our least
which I think
favorite
might
Batman.
actually be just as difficult as the favorite in this one.
Yes, actually, I hadn't even thought about that. My least favorite Batman. That is very hard. I thought I would hate Ben Affleck. I honestly was like, oh my God, I threw up in my mouth a little, and I didn't mind him, actually.
I I hated him, but I don't know if I
Okay.
hated him for him or for the movie he was in.
Yeah, see, that's where I'm hung up a little bit because honestly, the scenes with him and Wonder Woman were freaking awesome. I wanted
But
just
at the same
them in the
time,
movie.
I think she was 90% of every scene with the two of them, and he just had to phone in
Yeah.
showing up.
Well, I'll be honest. Okay, what I really want, I wanted a bunch of Batman and Wonder Woman kissing. That's what I wanted. That's my
Mm.
ship that is my controversial ship. And I liked their chemistry, honestly. I think honestly, and I love George Clooney, but he is my least favorite Batman. It was too campy. It was too. I was my suspension of disbelief was non-existent throughout that entire movie.
Arnold Schwarzenegger having a freeze ray, I can handle that.
Yeah,
The dialogue, whew,
bat nipples.
oh, oh.
Yeah, which made me angry because Batgirl was legitimately one of my growing up because of this the 1960s series. I loved Batgirl. I loved her in the animated series, and I was so disappointed
And
in that
they
movie.
picked the 90s it girl. I literally had to write a an essay on Clueless earlier today. Um,
Oh,
and
really?
when I was watching for the vernacular that came out of that movie,
Uh-huh.
the next thing that popped up was her in uh, I don't even remember what was it, Batman and Robin. Yeah, it was Batman and Robin.
It was
And I
Batman and
was like,
Robin, yeah.
"Yay, Alicia Silverstone is this awesome actor!" Whoa, she did not know
Yeah.
what she was signing up for.
No, she did not. She was ill throughout the vast majority of filming that. She developed an anxiety disorder, I think, and it made her physically ill. And you can tell, poor thing, you can tell. Like that was just most god awful
I think
film.
I'm gonna have to put Ben Affleck is my worst. Yep.
Really?
No. I am gonna take that back. Val Kilmer is my worst because it was so
Yeah.
bad. I have to Google what the movie was about. The only saving grace of
Excuse
that
me.
movie was the fact that Jim Carrey played the Riddler, and not that I thought he did a great job. I liked him because it was more to the campy side. Um, but his
Yeah.
ability, he spent months learning how to spin the cane and do all the tricks himself. Yeah,
Oh, seriously? I didn't
apparently
know
he's like
that.
this big method actor, and so that is the only thing I remember about it. The rest of it is entire
Yeah, it is. It's kind of
Holy
forgettable.
Rusted Metal Batman. That's
Oh my God, that's that one? Okay, see, here's the problem. I conflate the Val Kilmer movie and the George Clooney movie. I'm
well,
not
and the
even kidding
problem
you.
is because Robin is the
I really
same.
do conflate them. He is
Yeah,
exactly the
so
same. I had a huge crush on him in my early 20s, as
yeah, I
did
was gonna
most of
say, and
my
everyone else.
girlfriends. Yeah.
So
Um, the thing about, you know what, you might be right about Val Kilmer. Well, Val Kilmer and George Clooney both, there was no delineation between the Bruce Wayne persona and Batman. They were the exact same person.
yeah, so I'm gonna give Val Kilmer my absolute wouldn't want to sit through that performance if you paid me. The
Valid.
next couple for me are less like legit reasons and more me being a jerk face. Um, Ben
Okay.
Affleck, the movies were just horrible. Like there was I
Yeah.
would say there was no saving grace, but there was Wonder Woman. So one saving grace.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I couldn't believe him to be Batman. Like there is no universe in which I believe Ben Affleck was a
Hmm.
Batman. Like he he
Yeah.
would have been a better Batman from Batman Beyond. Um, because
They tried to walk that line. They made him an older, bitter, more, I mean, Batman's pretty bitter, but they tried to make him this uber bitter, older Batman, and it didn't quite
and he wasn't
translate.
physically fit, and so he was more of a brawler, and like it just they took the wrong aspects of all these Batman personas and shoved him into Ben
Mm,
Affleck. So I'm not saying his performance is the worst, but he's going to be my second to worst Batman.
interesting. I liked that because in my opinion we've had just too many freaking Batman movies and I really don't
Yeah,
care anymore. Like I will probably rent Robert Pattinson's Batman movie when it comes out, maybe a few months after it comes out because I care that little. But I thought at least they're doing something slightly different because they are making him older. They are making him more of he came across to me more like a crotchety old man, but I would have appreciated it more if they had made him, I don't know, there's just more of a
yeah.
grizzled kind of thing. Make him, give him scars. We see him with his shirt off. I think it's Justice League. We see him with his shirt off. There's no scars, nothing. Make him scarred up. Like, make him really tore up. You know what I mean? If you're going to go there,
And so
go
I feel
there.
bad giving it to Ben Affleck himself because I do believe he can act, but
Yeah.
I think he can only act the way he is allowed to act, and so I think he
Yeah.
got I think he got screwed.
I would agree with that. I think he and Henry Cavill
Oh
both
yeah,
got screwed because I think Henry Cavill would have made a great Superman if they had let him be Superman.
but no, which is funny. Superman, stop being happy, be gritty. Batman, too gritty. Like wait,
Bring it back.
what?
Bring it
Like
back.
you
What? Yeah.
so you both of them were middle of the road.
Yeah, which I think is why it's skew it's hard to judge that performance because is it the script or is it Affleck? Who
Sorry, Affleck.
knows?
Go
Yeah, sorry,
Boston.
buddy. Um I would say for me, my bottom one's probably George Clooney, followed closely by Val Kilmer. And Val Kilmer, I will love you to the day I die. I love Val Kilmer. I've seen almost everything he's ever done because I am addicted to that man. Um, but he was not a great
I
Batman.
I
He was not a
and
great
when I
Batman
think
at
back
all.
into the movie, I think, oh, I remember. Oh, that was the Two Face. That was the Riddler. That was with Robin.
Hmm.
Was there even a Batman in that movie? Like, was
Yeah, it's
was
hard
there a
to.
Bruce Wayne appearance? Like, I literally have removed him from the performance.
Well, and they try to do this whole psychologist digging into the psyche, the tortured psyche of Batman. Honestly, every time I've seen that, I've laughed. It's so uncomfortable. It's not even like ooh, like dark uncomfortable. It's laughably uncomfortable that Nicole Kidman is this. I'm sorry. They just don't set it up. I
And
mean, they
and for
don't.
a PG-13 movie, like you're trying to go down a really dark path, but whoa, too dark, too
Yeah.
dark.
Yeah. But it's okay to have naked Nicole Kidman wrapped in a very body clinging
Yeah,
sheet.
that's
Okay.
fine.
Yeah,
My
that's whatever.
next would have to be
Okay.
Christian Bale, and this is the one I
No.
hate. Christian Bale,
Okay, do you hate the actor or the
both.
performance?
I can't believe him as Bruce
Okay.
Wayne, and I cannot believe him as Batman.
My
The actual
God.
story of Dark Knight, the first movie, I thought I was like, okay, another one, sure. Second one, I was like, okay, this has some promise. Like I see where it's going. And the third one came around, and I was
Yeah.
like, why doesn't anyone do something common sense?
Well, the third one is so
It,
full of holes, it's a
yeah,
Swiss cheese
it was
movie.
so poorly constructed, and they try to set it up for a sequel series and whatever. But the thing that, and this is, I am going to make some people mad for this one. His lisp drove me nuts.
It's not
It
that
is so
pronounced, though.
obvious when he is in the mask and all you can see is his mouth moving. Like, I just heard nothing but S's all over the place, to
Oh
the
my
point
God.
where I shut it off. I had to wait
Dude,
to watch it with other stuff going on. Um,
you are the first person I've ever heard that has
and,
hated
and I
those
can
movies that
literally
much.
hear people being like, delete this podcast. But
But wait, I like it. Don't
I
delete.
hated it. And the only thing, like, I like that storyline. And I'm not a huge Batman fan, but I
Yeah.
do really like that storyline. It's one of probably my favorites. Um, and the direction was good. The ambiance in the first one was really great. The second one, yeah, the second one did really well.
It's probably got my it's probably got my hands down favorite Commissioner Gordon and Alfred of all
And I
time.
will. Everything was set up, and we're gonna ignore the third one because just yeah, I I loved
Yeah.
Catwoman in it as a modern Catwoman, but
It, Anne Hathaway, I was shocked how much I liked her as Catwoman,
yeah,
but that was pretty much the
uh,
only thing I liked about that movie.
she saved that movie the same way Wonder Woman saved Ben
Yes.
Affleck.
Yes, I would agree with that
But
actually.
I couldn't convince myself that he was a pretty boy millionaire. I
Oh,
couldn't
jeez.
convince myself that he was a tortured soul. Like, I
How?
you
Really?
could have drawn a stick figure on the screen and I would have been just okay with it.
See, I'm surprised because I bought into it full on. And he's not my favorite Batman. That's the thing. He is not my favorite. He's my second favorite, but he is not my favorite Batman. And I totally bought into it.
Um,
But I've been in love with Christian Bale since Newsies.
and
So there might be a little bit of a skewed
he
point of view
does
there.
a really good. I've seen him in dark things. I've seen him in lighter things. Like, I'm not saying Christian Bale can't act. I have the utmost regard for him in other roles. There are
Hmm.
roles that earned awards because of him. So I have no
Yeah.
problem with him outside of this role. I think a lot of it was I couldn't buy him as Bruce Wayne. Okay, well, I can't buy a lot of them as Bruce Wayne, but as Batman, I just, oh my god, the one-liners were so bad.
Well, what I didn't like, okay, so I am going to bring up the third movie just a little bit because I felt like as each movie progressed, the character of Batman, talked too
Mm-hmm.
much. The first movie, Batman as the character Batman, hardly spoke at all. And that's perfect for the character. Batman is not should not be talking a whole lot. But by the third movie, he's might as well be delivering soliloquies in that voice. And I can't understand a single thing he's saying. He was just as bad as
So
Bane in terms of what did
that
he
was the other
say?
thing. Everyone was mocking Bane for the. All I could think of is I would rather listen to Bane than Batman right now. I would rather
I
listen
did
to
not
Bane read me Great Expectations than Christian Bale give me one more line.
actually
That
I'd
would be
pay
kind
to
of
hear
funny.
that. I really would. It would be.
But
I liked the
the third movie
go ahead.
also he spoke so much because he was Batman the majority of the movie, and then I don't know the Dark Knight, that whole word night. Oh no no no! We're gonna have the whole thing filmed at noon. Um,
No, there was too much daylight in that movie. I agree with you about that. It was just
like
ridiculous.
you kind of lost Gotham. This is just downtown New York. I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure that
yeah.
you just drove through Times Square. Like I can see it.
I liked so I felt there's only been two actors that have ever really pulled off the clear delineation between Bruce Wayne and Batman, that they are two completely different people residing in
So
one
this
body.
is where we are not
And
going to
I
agree.
this is where we're not going to agree. But before I go there, okay, so my lows are my least favorite was George Clooney, followed by Val Kilmer, followed by Ben Affleck. I would say Ben Affleck is my third least favorite
Okay.
Batman. Cinematically speaking, I'm having a very hard time weaving the TV Batman actors into this because I feel like they're very
So
different, is what I feel like.
uh Adam West. So the rest of my list would go.
He's in a class by himself, I feel
Um,
like.
Kevin Conroy is going to take it because I can listen to his voice and tell when he is Bruce Wayne and when he is Batman. And the fact that he
Okay.
just with his voice can evoke either
Hmm.
or, he owns a very special spot for me. Then it's going to be Adam West. And my
Really?
reason for this is it's not my favorite portrayal of Batman. I like Batman to be a little bit darker and grittier, but let's pay homage to the fact that Batman does have some pretty ridiculous moments.
Yeah.
And shark repellent really is not that far fetched.
No, it really isn't.
And
It
the
really
fact that they
isn't.
committed, they went with it, and
Yeah.
never did I feel that Adam West disbelieved. Like Adam West died knowing he was Batman.
Oh, hell yes.
And
Hell
so his
yes.
conviction and that slapstick, like it owns a place in my childhood. He is my number two.
I need to give Adam to me, and I agree with everything you've just said. And he's got a very special place for me in my childhood, in my fandom of Batman, limited though it may be. That's why I feel like I can't include him on the list, honestly, because his Batman is so different. I mean, it's a special place in my heart, but it's so different from the way I prefer Batman that I don't think I can compare what he did with that role with what everybody
Mm.
else did because it was so different. Um, I think he might be my favorite on like TV portrayal. If we're going to go TV, it's him all the way for me. He is my hands down favorite for television. Um,
Oh, I didn't even think about the other
but
TV portrayals. Yeah, they don't matter.
there's not that many of them, but for me it's always going to come down to Adam West. Just because for TV portrayals. But my number 3 Wait, see, I said my number three was Ben Affleck. What number are we on now? Four?
I think we're down to the top
Are we
two.
going towards the
Yeah.
top? The top two. All right. Well, my number two is Christian Bale. My number two is Christian Bale. And it's a close, like, it's close for me because I do feel like like I said, he and my number one are the only two that I ever felt had such a clear delineation of Bruce Wayne and Batman. And I loved his Bruce Wayne was such a dick. It's what I always knew Bruce Wayne actually was supposed to be. He was such a dick. Um, and I loved it. But I am the exact opposite of you. I completely bought into the tortured soul. I completely bought into him being a pretty rich boy. I completely bought into the whole thing, the whole package. Um, when in the first movie, Katie Holmes's character says, "This is your mask," and she touches his bare face, it's like, yeah, no, seriously, for his portrayal of Batman, his truest form really is behind that cowl. And I think for me, I loved the way that he was able to make me believe in the origin story of Batman, which has always sounded kind of like somebody needs a psychologist so bad that I could never
That's
get
my
past
other
that,
issue
you
is
know?
I don't like that origin story. Um, I
It's my
so
favorite one.
and this is just an issue I have with all comics. So if I get rich enough and I get on a plane and I fly over Tibet, I'm just coming back as a superhero, right? I am white, so we obviously know that I can perform martial arts better than the
Yeah,
natives.
that is a fair
So
point.
I don't like the hands down white appropriation of uh, the the white savior story. And I'm not saying that that is,
Oh, I didn't even think about
and I
that
don't
actually.
think the movie really goes into that, but um, uh, because
Well, when you have a white guy playing
yeah,
Ra's al Ghul, I didn't like that. Now, I love Liam Neeson to my dying day, and I think he's a fantastic actor. But my one quibble is if you're going to have a character named Ra's al Ghul, you don't cast a white guy. I'm sorry, but you shouldn't be casting
and
a
I
white
don't like
guy.
the idea that and the same thing goes for Oliver Queen. Like, do they all charter the same airplanes? Because really, they need to go out of
It's like
business.
we will make a superhero out of you, you
Um,
know, like
so like all of these characters, and who is it in Marvel that did it? Oh, Wolverine to some extent, not quite rich, but mastered the locals. Um, and
yeah.
I get graded on martial arts being the end all of Batman because originally Batman was just a rock'em sock'em dude with a mask.
Yes.
And that's
Yes.
why I like the Adam West because like he literally puts up his dukes and fights.
Pow! I know, I love that. Which a case could be made then for Affleck being a truer representation in
Yeah,
terms of fighting style. Because, like you said, he's a brawler. And I did actually like
I
that.
did like the fact. My only problem with his was a little the reliance on the gadgets, but in that continuum, it made sense. Um,
Yeah.
I just want Batman to just go punch people.
But the thing is, I didn't feel like he got so martial artsy that it was like, no way, he couldn't do that in that suit. Like, there were limits because he was in the suit. I do feel like they did give him limits. I did like I guess I liked that we saw kind of why Batman. I mean, Alfred played beautifully by Michael
Mm-hmm.
Caine. Oh my God, favorite Alfred. He's like, why bats? And then we're told why, very simply why. And the aspect that they got right with him that I feel like they also got right with my number one was this idea of
Mm-hmm.
fear, this mysterious, fearful figure that could make you a really bad guy pee his pants coming out of the shadows. They did that superbly
Well,
in the
and
first
I also
movie.
thought that it's not even necessarily fear for the criminals; it's fear of young Bruce Wayne. So if I mean, legitly, if someone showed up on your
Hmm.
doorstep dressed in a giant bat costume, you're gonna laugh. I mean, it's kind of funny. Um, but
Yeah.
he maintains this childhood fear, and I do think that
Yes.
that component, which leads us to our number one, which I think is a number one for many people. Sorry, Christian Bale fans.
Well, who's your number two?
Yeah,
Wait, did we?
so my number two would be so
Was it Adam West? Did you put Adam West in there at number two?
Adam West would be my number two. Then I don't think I placed
You put
Clooney.
Christian. It was.
Clooney's gonna go
I
underneath
thought
Christian
Clooney
Bale.
was.
I will concede to that. Um, the only reason Christian Bale made it so high up my list is because I hate Ben Affleck's portrayal so much.
Well, and you've also it's kind of padded like that. If you dislike if you put Val Kilmer and George Clooney where they belong on that list, Christian Bale is
Yeah,
gonna
like,
rise. Like it's
but
just
here is the funny thing: we agree on our number one Batman being Michael Keaton.
we do. Yes,
So
absolutely.
I'm gonna jump in with my caveat to this. I did not like
Okay.
him as Bruce Wayne
Interesting. Okay.
because it he was so aloof as an actor for this particular role. It was hard to
Mhm.
get to know a Bruce Wayne. My number one Bruce Wayne, because again I like to go a little more the hokey route, is George Clooney. But I also think that it's not really George
Really?
Clooney acting. I think it might actually be George Clooney.
And you're not the only
I
one.
I think that
Yes.
he is a millionaire playboy that women love and men just are jealous of. Not brooding. Like
Yes.
I won't say that he is the good brooding Batman, but I could believe him going to
No.
the charity fundraisers and owning half the city and putting in all that limelight.
Agreed.
That for that reason, he's my number one Bruce Wayne, but
Interesting. Okay. I could see
nowhere
that.
near my top Batman.
No.
Michael Keaton, which is kind of an underdog. He wasn't even supposed to be Batman.
Well, people hated that
Yeah,
casting choice because all they could think of was Beetlejuice, but they forget about Clean
yeah.
and Sober, which he did before that. And that was like this amazingly brutal drama
I
about
just remember him for
addiction.
Multiplicity.
And oh God, I forgot
So did
about
everyone
Multiplicity.
else.
And Mr.
Uh,
Mom, wasn't
was
he
that
in
him?
Mr. Mom? Was that him?
I don't know.
I
There was a
think it
lot of
was
bad movies
him.
back then.
Yeah, but he it was the first Batman movie I'd ever seen. Um, and his two movies, now this is where I might get some people riled up. I think his second Batman movie was better than his first.
So I Jack Nicholson is always going to be my Joker. I
Ah, oh, oh,
but
ugh,
you can see
oh.
this because my number two Joker would be Adam West's Joker. So
Oh, yeah, yeah, that's classic. That's
the
classic.
the brooding, moody, Suicide Squad y like the Joker movie, like all of that is trash to me. I want
Yeah,
I want my
agreed.
Joker
Agreed.
to be a psychotic clown, basically. And um and I'm not even saying that Jack Nicholson was the best actor for it, but he did have some of the best lines.
He agreed. He did have some of the best lines. He is not my favorite Joker. My favorite Joker is Heath Ledger. And the funny thing about that is I was pissed that they cast Heath Ledger as the Joker. I thought that was the worst casting choice, and he blew me
I
away. He added a depth because to me the Joker is so easy to play
mm,
cheaply. And I felt like Heath Ledger played it with depth that I had never seen and still have never seen
that
before.
movie gets a super big hall pass for me because uh again, Heath Ledger not my favorite person in the world. Christian Bale, we obviously know how I feel. But here's the reason I love that movie so much is it's Fight Club with more makeup. So
Ooh,
if you
good
look
point.
closely, Heath Ledger is the hero and Batman's the villain. Batman
Hmm.
stands for uh, the social elite and keeping tradition, whereas Joker sees everything wrong, and so that's why that movie, uh, as a whole product, will transcend my dislike of Christian Bale.
Well, and there is a great, if anybody listening or you, Remy, is interested, there is a fantastic
Mm.
Film Joy episode about Heath Ledger's Joker. I highly recommend it. I don't necessarily agree with his some of his opinions in that video, but overall, I think it is a fantastic like deep dive into that movie and Heath Ledger's performance in particular. So, Film Joy, just look it up on YouTube and scroll through, and you'll find the video. But it was
But
really good.
I'll agree with you as
Um,
far as Michael Keaton goes. Number two is my favorite. Um,
it's
it's
oh
uh,
man,
Michelle Pfeiffer is
yes,
everything I've ever wanted Catwoman to be. Like
yes.
I watched this not too long ago. Like that should be the most uncomfortable portrayal, and if you're not like unsettled by that, then you're not looking at the world.
Yeah. And that suit, fun fact, I love trivia. Fun fact, they made like 24 of those suits or something crazy because the material they got, it doesn't breathe. So she's literally suffocating in that thing. They would have to film it in very short bursts, cut her out of it, let her skin breathe, and then put her back in.
And her relationship with Michael Keaton was,
Oh,
I loved it.
fantastic. So they do the duality, and it is a movie primarily, I feel like, about the duality of these two people. And I absolutely love the scene at the end where he takes his mask, he takes the cowl off, and he says, "We're both split right down the middle." And it's this great acknowledgement of the duality of Batman and also Catwoman as well, without going to all the like
Mm.
deep psychological whatever they tried to do in the next movie. It's just stated and we see it and we
And we
know it
got to
and
experience it.
then
We
they
don't
move on.
need a psychologist to
We
tell
did.
us.
Exactly. Exactly. And I loved the line, I mistook me for someone else. Because he says it as Bruce Wayne to her, to Selena Kyle. And when he first meets her, he says, I mistook me for someone else because he had met her as Catwoman, as Batman.
And
And he kind of recognizes her there. It's a great moment. It's one of my
then Danny
favorites.
DeVito as the Penguin was truly one of the grossest portrayals of a character I have ever experienced.
And yet you couldn't
And
look away.
when
It was a,
when he
ugh.
dies at the end, you like that movie was a little traumatic.
Well, yes, it was, which is why Tim Burton didn't get number three because people were pissed. They took their kids to see this movie, and kids are freaking out, like running out of the theater. They don't have a toy line because he made it. In my opinion, he made it like you should make a Batman movie. Batman is not a fun, happy character like they tried to do in three and four. It's dark and it's gritty and it's in some ways gruesome and
And I like that
disgusting.
they Tim Burton never pulled punches. I like
Nope.
that we see three extremely distinct pathways to these masked personas, and
Mm-hmm.
again, all of them kind of stem from these horrible traumatic experiences, and
Yeah.
and not
Yeah,
and not the
exactly.
physical side of it, which all of them also have that, but like,
Mm-hmm.
wow, you guys are screwed from the get-go.
Yeah, you guys are
and
messed
and
up.
at the end of it, like when you see all three of them, like all three people side by side, you're like, wow, Batman's really, why do we call you the hero in this movie?
It's a very good
Like
question, actually. It's a very good
he just
question.
better
The
social
thing
writing.
also, yeah, exactly. He's just slightly less psychotic than the others. I think, and I also think now, and I could be wrong, but I memory serves, in the Michael Keaton movies, he never
No,
uses a gun. There's no guns on the car, there's no guns anywhere. Whereas in the other movies, and this was one of my biggest pet peeves about the Ben Affleck one, there are guns everywhere. And that is the one weapon Batman should never use,
I
ever.
can't remember if the Batmobile had a gun on it.
It had flamethrowers, like epically big flamethrowers, but I don't think it
I,
had a
I,
gun.
I'm not entirely sure of that. For some reason, I want to say that there were guns somewhere, but he never handles it. And then when you get to the Ben Affleck, you're just like, does he really have machine guns on every device? His
Yeah,
iPhone
which is
probably has a
unrealistic.
machine gun.
Yeah. It has a tiny one that comes out and like pew pew. Um, I just I think Michael Keaton, and even slightly more than Christian Bale, he got the darkness of the character. He understood the psychology of the character. He understood the why
And
of
I
the
think Tim
character.
Burton understood that and gave him permission.
Yes, exactly. I
Where
would agree
I
with that.
think in other instances, I mean, let's just be honest, the Christian Bale portrayal could have gone that way, but that's just not what Nolan wanted. And not saying that that's
Two, the second
yeah,
one
the
was
second
pretty
one I will
dark. The
say.
second one ended pretty dark.
But and then the others, you could just tell that the director or the studio was heavy handing it, and the actor was like, okay, which is ultimately why Ben Affleck left. So it goes to
Yeah.
show that once upon a time, when it wasn't about billions of dollars, you got a little more
Yeah.
freedom.
Well, and it was a risk. It was a risk casting Michael Keaton. It was a risk making a live action Batman film. Because if I'm correct, the last superhero film that actually made money was, and it wasn't the last Superman film, because I think Superman
Yeah,
4
it did.
bombed, if I remember correctly. So the last superhero movie to really make good money was Superman 2. Because Superman 3, I think Superman 3 and 4 bombed, but Superman 2 made a
You mean
boatload of
Spider
money.
Man, the live action movie, didn't make like a blockbuster hit?
Oh my God, I
Like,
know.
who would have ever thought?
But I think that's true. And so you've got Michael Keaton Batman though was late 80s. So it's a long
Yeah, it.
time. That's 10 years, I think.
So, so we got mine is Michael Keaton to Adam West to Christian Bale to George Clooney
Hmm.
to Val Kilmer,
You left off Ben
and then Ben
Affleck.
Affleck. Oh no, he just deserves the
Okay,
end.
he's the end. So mine is George Clooney, Val Kilmer, Ben Affleck, George Clooney, Val Kilmer, Ben Affleck. I left Adam West out of mine. He deserves a special mention, is what I feel like. And then Christian Bale, and then
You know
Michael
what the funny
Keaton.
thing is you know what your like top two are, and the rest of them are arguing for the worst spot.
They are. I hate to put it like that, but they
And
really are. And
yeah,
yeah,
I think like we could do a whole show on who's the worst Joker, but there's no show to say who
yeah,
the best is. So yeah,
yeah. I do think we need to do a show about the sequel being better than the original, than the first, because there's like three different movies in my head right now where I'm like, the sequel was better
oh
than the
well,
first one.
there's always the Insta two. Uh,
Which
it's
ones?
always gonna be Terminator 2 and
Oh my God,
Aliens,
yeah. Oh,
which for
interesting.
very different reasons,
Yeah.
horror people will argue,
Alien. Yeah, yeah. Because Alien was a horror
and
movie in space.
Aliens is a
Absolutely.
sci-fi military film. Um,
Yeah.
but if you like one alien, you should like more aliens. So
You should like more, even more. Now with more
that
aliens.
that should be the tagline right there. All right. So
That
for our
really should
question
be
of the
the.
week, we just need to find out
Yeah, we got in the weeds.
who is your favorite Batman. And secretly, who is your least
Yes.
favorite Batman?
Yes, that's actually a very good question too, because people love
Yeah.
talking about that. All right. And I mean, you could also, for a bonus, do you agree or disagree with
Eh,
us in our choices? You're going
yeah.
to tell us anyway.
The, I feel like this is a sensitive subject. This should have been a trigger warning. All, all right,
Should have
guys,
been.
that's it for this week. We'll be back next week. So take a moment, hit the subscribe, hit the like, do whatever social media things that you do. Um,
Thanks,
so thank you
everybody.
and have a good week.
To stay up to date with the Geekorama podcast, you can watch our videos on YouTube or subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts. And if you enjoy the show, leave us a review or hit the thumbs up button. New episodes are released on Thursdays for podcast listeners and YouTube fans.